now we turn our attention to Major League Baseball. May 1st, DRS, an important day in the MLB calendar. You've heard it from our guy, Craig Mish, all year long. You don't make money in Major League Baseball forecasting the future, looking at results in April, but they still count. Do we start to change our assessment now in the month of May? So after a full month of this MLB season in 2024, let's see where the markets stand in both of the pennant prices. We start in the American League, and the story, Donnie, has been the preseason favorites, the Houston Astros, on a 3-game winning streak as of this moment, but still 9 games below 500 at 10-19, and they have seen their American League pennant price move back by nearly $3. Because of it, the Yankees have emerged as the favorites, plus 320. The Orioles, $1.50 of movement as well, from plus 650 down to 5-1. The Rangers have remained the same. The Mariners virtually the same. The Twins back by $1, but virtually the same, and $4 of negative movement against Toronto. But again, the story is Houston. Would you buy into an Astros price here to start off May, hoping they regress back to the mean and have a more successful MLB campaign from this point on?
You probably would want to because, again, it's a 6.5-game lead that the Seattle Mariners technically have over right now for the Houston Astros if they want to win that division. Now, you don't have to win the division to make the playoffs. You can still get a wild card spot, but maybe that could be their best angle. You can whittle that away and maybe gain a game and a half per month here, and then you're looking at a great closeout in September. But there's too many good players on the Houston Astros to be this bad. And as you said, they've won 3 straight games here. Now, last night, you're not getting – usually the Houston Astros we win games 4-3, 4-1, 4-2 because we have a great bullpen and great starting pitching, and we have a very good 1 through 7 or 8 in our lineup on a day-to-day basis. It hasn't really factored into that. So, yes, at this point right now, as much as bad baseball as we're getting out of the Houston Astros, it's not time to put them away because you got, as you said, May, June, July, August, and September. You have 4 full months to get this thing right. And what I mean get it right is not play like 800 baseball throughout the summer. Just claw back. Be within 2.5 games by the time you get to September and say, we have the pedigree to win this. We'll get some of our pitchers back that will be healthy around that time, and away you go. So if I'm looking at the Houston Astros, there's still a bye team here, and maybe it would be different if they were on another losing streak here. But good to see them finally win some games here to get that positive momentum back.
Listen, last week the Astros had a plus money price to make the postseason. Now it's minus 114. If Houston is in the postseason, the team has reached the American League Championship Series 7 consecutive seasons. You should buy back into Houston. Any other bets, DRS, in those American League pennant odds that you think entering May might tickle your fancy?
I'll tell you, look, I'll take the opposite approach. Teams I won't be betting: the Guardians, Royals, Tigers, Twins, and White Sox. Look, I know one of those teams has to win it and will get home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. I just don't think they're up to par with the other teams. The American League East is really strong, and if we're expecting the Houston Astros to bounce back, the Texas Rangers to get back into their fold, they're only 16-14, by the way, not even playing great baseball, and we'll see what we get out of Seattle. I'm just a seller on the Central, which you could say same thing in the National League for me as well in the Central, just the way it is.
That's interesting. It is interesting, though, just based on the start to this season. The White Sox are the worst team in baseball, 6-24, but all 4 other teams in the AL Central, a winning record as of this moment. And the Twins, the hottest team in the bigs, they've won 9 straight games. We'll go to the National League and where the market has moved in this opening month of MLB. Up next. It is May 1st, live right here on this Wednesday on the early line on SportsGrid. A full month of the Major League Baseball season is now in the books. Of course, it started March 28th, but really we look at April as our sample size. Now it is May. Where have the markets moved for the contenders around MLB? We showed you the American League, a lot of negative movement against the Houston Astros. The Yankees, the favorites. The Orioles have that second best price at 5-1. Baltimore and Cleveland tied for the best record in the AL. Now we go to the National League. And really, Donnie, the story is the same atop the NL. We expected before the year got going it would be the Dodgers and the Braves. It's really where the prices remain at this moment. Plus 165 was the opening day number for L.A., 5 cents off that, plus 160. Plus 250 was the opening day number for the Braves. Plus 220 now for Atlanta. Still the best record in the National League based on win percentage, despite the Philadelphia Phillies having the most wins. The Phillies, the first team in MLB to get to that 20-win threshold. And because of it, $1.50 off the price of Philly. But you're already starting to see the tiers emerge in the National League. There's the big two, LA and Atlanta. And then right behind them is Philadelphia. And then from the Phils to everybody else, a considerable drop-off as well.
Yes, and that's what we have to focus on. The Phillies, again, the first team in Major League Baseball with 20 wins, but not even in first place. You say, how to make that make sense? Well, the Braves still have a couple games in hand at 19-9 on the season, even though they did lose their past two games. The Phillies did win their game last night, so they're only a half game out. Take a look at the shelves, right, in the National League. It really feels like, to me, Ben, it's the Atlanta Braves, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, hear me out on this. I don't expect things from the Mets, Nationals, and Marlins down the stretch to challenge the Phillies or the Braves for supremacy in the East here. But let's roll it over to the West Coast here. The Dodgers at 19-13 on the season. Not tremendous, but the only reason why you're taking a look at them with a 4-game lead out in the West is because we haven't played great baseball with the other teams in the division. We didn't expect anything coming into the season from the Colorado Rockies, and we're getting nothing from them. But the Arizona Diamondbacks made it to the World Series last year. They're under 500. The Padres, even though they lost some talent in the offseason, still very talented, under 500. The San Francisco Giants had a very good offseason finally here and got some playmakers. They're under 500 as well. I'm waiting to see behind the Dodgers who actually tries to push them throughout the summer, because the one thing that I'm actually surprised of, if you would have told me here in the month of May, as we open up today, that the Dodgers would be in first place, but everybody else would be under 500, then I might tell you they have a 7 or 8 game lead at this point, and it's already done here. So the Dodgers catching some breaks on how the rest of that division is playing. Now, if we focus on the Central, much like I just told you about the American League Central, I'm not looking to buy on those teams. But also, these teams are having good seasons. You take a look at the Pirates, who opened up very good, have now slipped to 14-17, 2 games under 500. The Cardinals here, but then you take a look at the Reds, above 500. The Cubs at 18-12. That's not barely getting by. That's a very good record. And then the Brewers at 18-11. I think there might be a chance that these teams could make some noise, like win a playoff round. But again, to me, it's really hard to focus outside of the Braves, Phillies, and Dodgers, because I do believe they are head and shoulders above the rest of the National League, Ben.
The Cardinals were the preseason favorites to win the Central. Right now, the third best price at plus 270. Again, below 500. The Cubs are the favorites at plus 180. The Brewers have the best record by having one less loss than Chicago at this moment, but they're backed by nearly 50 cents at plus 240. So Chicago plus 180, Milwaukee plus 240 in the Central, the Cards at plus 270. All three teams separated by less than $1. I say that because the Cardinals have seen negative market movement against them in the National League pennant prices. The reigning NL pennant winners, the surprise team a year ago in the D-backs, have seen negative market movement, 17-1 to now 20-1, $3 against Arizona. They're 3 games below 500. Donnie, from the Phillies price at plus 650, currently in the National League pennant odds, you have to double the number for the Phils and then add on some change to get to the Cubs, who have the 4th best price at 16-1. Those tiers are already emerging, and I'm not sure they really change throughout this MLB season.
No, and the only reason why they would change if you get devastating injuries. Now, we already saw a devastating injury from the Braves, but they're so deep right now and so talented 1 through 9 in their lineup, they usually can hit their way out of bad pitching here. But also keep in mind, the Braves, to me, might have the best general manager and front office in Major League Baseball. They will make some moves around the deadline if they need to fortify that front end starting pitching staff. I believe that happens. So for me, again, Braves, Phillies, and Dodgers. As long as we don't get wrecked by injuries at the end of the season, those 3 teams will be vying for that supremacy with that number 1 seed in the NL for me.